Hi, not all animated films are made using computers. Kubo and the Two Strings was not created by computer, but with real model puppets that were moved manually using a technique commonly known as stop motion. The making of it was truly insane, from crafting the puppets, building the sets, to figuring out how the puppets were moved. The whole process took a long time, lasting up to 2 years. Okay, let's talk about just how complex it really is. This film was made using the stop-motion technique, which involves photographing puppets frame by frame. For example, to make a puppet walk, it's placed in one pose and photographed, then its arms and legs are slightly adjusted and photographed again, then adjusted once more and photographed again, and so on. When all the photos are arranged and played back, the puppet appears to move. It may sound simple, but in reality, it's extremely complex. Imagine that to create just 1 second of video, you need 24 frames or 20 for photos. That means for just 1 minute of footage, the puppet's pose has to be changed 1,440 times with absolute precision to make the movement look natural. And the complexity increases because it's not only the hands and feet that need to move. The head, the hair, and even the facial expressions all have to change as well.
Sword unbreakable. It could be a trap.
You're probably wondering, what happens when the puppets need to talk and show expressions? Well, that means their faces have to be changed frame by frame as well. Each puppet's face is removable and replaceable with different expressions. To achieve this, the studio had to create thousands of facial expressions just for a single character.
And we have thousands and thousands of these faces. When we put all the different faces together, there's actually 48 million different expressions for Kubo's face.
And because there are so many facial pieces, each one has to be coded or labeled to make sure they don't get mixed up.
About epic battles, warriors and monsters.
But we have to start with the real challenge, not just moving the puppets, but the process of making them itself, which is already quite complex. It involves professional artists who are highly skilled in crafting puppets. It might look similar to making an action figure, but remember, these puppets are specially designed for stop motion. That means every part of the body must be carefully built to ensure it can be moved and animated later on. And believe it or not, the hair attached to them was actually made from real human hair, while the skin was crafted from a special silicone blend. This gave the texture an almost lifelike quality, so that when light hit it, the reflection wouldn't look plastic, but much more natural, almost like real human skin. Now, this part is also fascinating. All the assets had to be built in miniature with incredible precision and detail, so that on screen they would look completely real. Of course, these artists didn't just make them carelessly. They had to combine various techniques, materials, and colors to make everything look as natural as possible. It's possible that the film still used computers to create certain effects, but they tried their best to minimize computer use. For example, the ocean waves were actually built from real materials. Computers were only used to help with the design and shaping process. And the giant monster had to be constructed with a robotic framework that could control the movement of its eyes and head. Also, notice the boat. It was made from millions of tiny leaves, each shaped with a laser. That's the complexity behind making Kubo and the Two Strings. The film was produced by LAIKA Studio, with a crew of around 400 people, true experts in stop motion. There were 27 animators working on Kubo, each assigned to separate shots, working simultaneously every day. The entire process took more than 2 years, because on average, each animator was only expected to complete about 4 seconds of animation per week, showing just how demanding the work was. Looking at how complex it is, one might wonder why go through all that effort when computers could make things easier. As the director himself admitted, he knew from the beginning that this film would require a much higher level of difficulty compared to most films. But for the sake of artistic vision, storytelling beauty, and the craft of cinema itself, they were willing to sacrifice their time, energy, and dedication.
It turns out it's really hard. It's really, really hard. Oh my God, it's so hard. But that was the movie that we wanted to make. We wanted to tell this incredible, beautiful story, and it required something of this sweep and scale, which is not something that comes naturally when you're working in stop motion.